Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call to order the school committee meeting on September 15th at 7 p.m. Would like to rise for a pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to call the student representative. Good evening.
Hi. Is this on? Yep. Okay. Okay. Hello and good evening. My name is Anthony DeMeo and I'm a senior at the high school. I'm here to share with you some of the exciting events and news of what's happening in the high school currently. Although the summer has come to an end, the student body is still eager to be back in the classroom to learn and take advantage of the full DHS experience this year and return to some form of normalcy. It has been wonderful to see everyone back in the building again, faculty and students, ready to kick off what should be a successful year and a productive year. To start off, last week was homecoming week at the high school. The students enthusiastically dressed up for Spirit Day throughout the week. That included Beach Day, Movie Day, Celebrity Dress Up Day, and Douglas Pride Day. The Spirit Week's festives led up to an exciting weekend for the Douglas athlete teams taking on our rival Sutton. The girls varsity volleyball team won their game against Sutton 3-2. The girl varsity soccer team lost their game 2-0. And the JV girls team lost 1-0, but they showed great efforts on the field and are looking forward to playing them again later in the season. The boys varsity team tied 0-0, while the boys JV team won 8-0. Additionally, Celebration Graduation hosted a spaghetti dinner fundraiser in the cafeteria to raise money for the class of 2022 that was met with a successful turnout. The homecoming dance was also held last Saturday night at the high school on the patio. It was Hollywood themed. Students danced the night away and enjoyed their time spent together outside of the classroom for a lively celebration for the first time in a long time. In other upcoming news, students will be taking their school pictures this Friday, September 17th. The high school is also hosting a free vaccination clinic this Friday, September 17th from 11 to 3, which is open to students over the age of 12 and any Douglas resident. Students will need permission from a parent or guardian to receive a vaccination. Furthermore, those starting to think about college and planning, there will be a college fair at the high school on September 24th. PSATs will be on Wednesday, October 13th, and SATs will be offered on Thursday, October 28th. Progress reports are also approaching fast and will be released on October 4th. Furthermore, the high school is thrilled to bring back some of our clubs and activities such as drama club, chorus, and band. In addition to that, in the next coming week or two, the high school will be offering a club fair, which will highlight both some returning clubs from last year along with new clubs this year, such as the Art Club, Gender Sexuality Club, the Science Club, the Horticulture Club, and more. Throughout my years at Douglas High School, I have never seen such a larger participation in all of these clubs, sports, and extracurricular activities than in these past 2 weeks. I used to attend some clubs that would have 5 members maximum, and now in some of the clubs I am part of, all the desks are completely full, and I'm extremely pleased with that. Concerning the coronavirus, there are a handful of students that still refuse to wear their masks properly over their noses. However, compared to the last school year, there has been a significant decrease in students that are doing that. Additionally, teachers and faculty have been more strict this year about masks over the nose, which I am very grateful, although we still need to encourage some of the teachers and faculty to keep enforcing masks over the nose and pretending not to notice it. On the bright side, we are back to more normalcy in the classes. The high school is back to having every class multiple times a week, and students have been almost having no issues with the normal schedule again. I am excited to see what the rest of the school year will look like for the rest of us students. So thank you for your time and attention. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, Julie is joining us.
So Julie Mulder is joining us via YouTube?
She's watching via Zoom,
Via
YouTube,
YouTube.
but replying via Zoom.
Okay, so just so everybody, it's on record that that's how we're handling Julie Mulder. So now we're going to open up for public comment and communication. If there's anybody who would like to come in and talk to us, this is your opportunity. please state your name and your address, please?
Sure. My name is Al Nault. My address is 21 Waite Street in Oxford, Mass., and I have 4 grandchildren that attend the school here. So I had planned initially to vent my anger at what's happening to our nation, our freedoms, our people, and particularly to our children, but God had other ideas. Yes, you as administrators and teachers are accountable to the parents for your actions with regards to our children. You need to answer questions such as, why do you mandate masks that do more harm than good? Why do you promote a so-called vaccine for children that is totally unnecessary, known to produce very harmful, sometimes permanent adverse effects and even death, and whose long-term effects are totally unknown? Why are you embracing and teaching gender fluidity? God created us male and female. There is no scientific or moral basis that would allow any of us to choose otherwise. Gender dysphoria is a genuine mental illness to be treated with compassion and truth, not by encouraging a vulnerable and confused child to continue in fantasy. Are you teaching critical race theory or any of its disguised derivatives, even though it is a Marxist and a racist ideology? Are you teaching the debunked revisionist history of the 1619 Project? Parents have a right to know the answers to these and any other questions related to the agenda and curriculum that you are presenting to our children. But ultimately, you're accountable to God. And so I'll appeal to your consciences as administrators, teachers, and even parents. Can you honestly say with a clear conscience before God that you have the absolute best interests of our children at heart in these mandates or curriculum? That you have diligently sought the truth to base your decisions upon? Are you just going along to get along, ignoring the truth or the consequences? Is our hands are tied the real truth or just a convenient cop-out? Are you surrendering our rights and freedoms out of fear of loss of your job or your prestige? Worse yet, are you trying to impose progressive ideology upon innocent and formative children? There was a time when we could all agree that schools would be a place of education in the basics of reading, writing, and arithmetic to prepare our children to excel and prosper in their lives and careers. Now government schools have become a place of indoctrination in liberal social justice, and the authority and responsibility of parents to teach their children moral and social values and skills has been usurped. For parents, if that's not what you want for your children, I may humbly suggest that you consider homeschooling. If that's not feasible, then please demand accountability from your school and demand that the indoctrination cease and that the schools stick to the basics.
Can you please put your mask on, please? Thank you.
For those of you who are genuinely anxious and worried and fearful for the future of our nation and children, may I humbly suggest that you turn to Jesus. He's the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father but by him. John 3:16, which is often seen on signs at ball games, says, "For God so loved the world," and that's each and every one of you, "that he gave his only begotten Son, Jesus, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." God is in control, and he alone can provide the forgiveness, peace, love, and joy that we all seek. God help us, and God help America.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that'd like to come forth? Are there any online, sir?
There are no one's online, no.
Okay. I'm going to close the public comment and communication, and we're going to move on to any old business that we need to discuss.
Nope.
Okay, so we're moving on to new business and the superintendent's report.
So welcome, everyone. 3 or 4 things on my agenda tonight. First, we're going to start off with the introduction of some new staff. We have some staff members here. I'll start off, and I'll have Courtney also speak, and the principals will introduce their staff. At the district level, we have 3 people, and I know we talked about introducing new staff, but it feels like these people have already been with us for 4 months. So Mr. O'Brien is our new middle school principal. Bob comes to us with an undergraduate from UMass Amherst and a master's from Worcester State. He is an Army veteran and served in the Persian Gulf War. Started his teaching career in Dudley Charlton, where he taught high school and was the athletic director and the assistant principal there. When he left there, he became the principal of David Prouty High School, and most recently, he was the assistant principal at Northbridge Middle School. There's a sense of excitement, a sense of joy, a newfound energy at the middle school, which has been great to see. Bob's been inside classrooms, talking to teachers, talking to kids. When I go to look for him, I can never find him, which is a good thing, which means he's out and about in classes and in hallways and interacting with kids. So just want to welcome Bob. We also have Tara Soboleski, our Director of Special Education and Student Support Services. She started her career in Grafton, then went on to the Worcester Public Schools as a team chairperson, and most recently, she was the educational team leader for the Marlborough Public Schools at a middle school. She has poise, which you absolutely need in that position. She has calm, she's thoughtful, she thinks about kids. Again, she's been in meeting with teachers, she's been in meeting with kids. I've seen her, on the floor talking to some of the kids. So Tara's been a wonderful addition to our staff. And then we have John Calabresi, our Director of Technology, who holds an undergraduate degree from UMass Amherst. He started his career back in IT back in 1997, where he worked for Tatterson Corporation, providing technical support. And he spent the past 17 years as the Director of Technology at the Abby Kelly Foster Charter School, where he managed the system for about a 1,400-person school. So John's been with us since early August, hit the ground running, trying to figure out all our different systems, trying to bring everything together for that first day of school. Pretty much a Herculean task to make work in a month. He's been awesome, and just a huge shout out, if she's watching, which I hope she's not, Donna Souza, who's been great helping John along the way and mentoring him and providing him feedback. I know she's been a phone call or a text or an email away, so thank you to Donna for that. So those are some people at the administrative level. I'll turn it over to Courtney, then the principals.
Okay, I would like to introduce Raquel Hammond. She's our new food service director. Raquel, okay. Raquel comes to us from Framingham Public Schools, where she worked for over 5 years as the director of culinary operations. Prior to that, she was the director of culinary services for Whitson's Culinary Group and Compass Group USA, Chartwells, otherwise known as Chartwells, providing school lunch programs at school districts in New York and New Hampshire. She holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in Food and Nutrition and a Master's degree in Nutrition Education with a focus on school nutrition. Raquel brings to Douglas Public Schools a host of experience, including farm-to-school programs, which I'm really excited about. She's already signed up for that. School gardening, which I will be right out there with the shovel and my work boots if I can. Hydroponic farming, which she did in Framingham, and school nutrition education. So she has a wide array of great experience to go actually beyond the school lunch program as far as serving kids, but also the academic connection as well. She's hit the ground running, providing training programs for all the food service staff already, training a new kitchen manager at the middle school that's just starting this year. She was previously working in the cafeteria. We think that's going to work out great too. And reviewing menu options, as well as a host of other activities to get ready for the opening of school. And things are going very well.
Ms. Sosha has an issue tonight and couldn't make it, so I'll present the primary school staff. We have Juliana Bomber, who is an ABA therapist, a name that you might recognize, and a former recent graduate of our high school. Jen Duclos, a K-para. Mary Hescock, another kindergarten para. Abigail Adams, who's doing a long-term sub in kindergarten. Kayla Taylor, a one-to-one paraprofessional. And Donovan Velasquez, a custodian who's working both in the primary and in the middle school. We'll turn it over to Mr. Bell.
How's it going? So this year we have a couple new staff members at the elementary school. We have Dawn Giorsi, who is our new academic center teacher. She has been an ABA in the district for a long time and has now started as her first year as a teacher. We're very excited about that, and she's done a great job taking over so far and learning the reins. It's great that Mrs. Jesnick, the former academic center teacher, is still in the building because they've been able to collaborate and share ideas, and it's been neat to see them working together. We also have Cassie Sawyer, which is another familiar face. She's been an ABA in the district for I think 4 or 5 years, and she is now in our Flex Center. So she's worked in the Flex Center as an ABA, and now she's taken over the teaching role in that position. She's done a great job trying to finagle all the different schedules and coverage and all those things. So it's been great to have her serving in that role. We have Emily Bagley, who's a new ABA for us, and she comes to us from the New England Center for Children, and she has experience working in schools and in the clinical setting, and she has done a fabulous job so far working with our students in the Flex Center. And then we have two new remediation paras, Anaya Smith and Katie Wheelock, and they are both fairly new to education. This is both their first jobs in a school, but they have done an amazing job the first couple weeks working with our Title I teachers, getting trained on how to do small group reading and how to do the remediation piece that they're going to be doing. And hopefully, I think next week they're going to start working with kids in the class, or they've been in the classrooms, but they're going to start working in those small groups once we get our data. So we have some great new staff members we're excited about, and we have a great team at the elementary school.
Thank you. Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you. We had two staff members come down from the high school to the middle school, and that was Ben Ayers, who is a para in the classroom, and we also had Laurie Durham, which came down to teach 7th grade math. New to the district is Kayla Avidian. She's a school adjustment counselor. She comes to us with 5 years of experience from the Tantascwa Regional School District. She's doing a bang-up job right away.
And last but not least, Mr. Romano.
So I have, Rhonda is here, Rhonda Frenzy, who is the new custodian at the high school. She is a superstar. Staff are telling me she's cleaning things that they've never seen get cleaned before. She previously worked in Warwick schools, and she owned her own business for a long time. She's been fantastic. Brianna Novicki is here. So Brianna is new to her position. She's actually been in the district longer than most of the people in this room, actually. She, not counting K through 12? Yeah. See if you can get that added to your retirement. She is a grade 9 special ed teacher now, but she's been a para, she's been an ABA, she's been a long-term sub last year for English, and she is the senior class advisor as well. Not here tonight, Haley Hansen is a DHS grad and an ABA in the STARS program. And she came with Jody Beaumont. They kind of came as a package deal. They're good friends outside of school, who is also an ABA in the STARS program. She had a prior background in working in daycare. And then Lisa Depola, who is our grade 11 special ed teacher. She's tutoring tonight. So I did ask her students what I should say about her. They said to say that she invented Cheez-Its and that she trained squirrels, but I am a little suspect to that information. She did, however, study at MIT and was previously an engineer and then decided to give this teaching thing a shot. She is certified for math and special education, and she which is a great combination. And prior to coming to Douglas, she taught in Marlborough and in Boston, in a middle school in Boston. So those are my new folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love seeing former students become paraprofessionals and are paraprofessionals working our way up. Bree's been here since the age of 4? Did you do preschool or just kindergarten?
Just kindergarten.
5. So it's been awesome to see. So welcome, everyone. And feel free to stay for the next 2 hours or probably go home. Except for the people who are presenting in a few minutes. So I've asked the principals to come and Tara to give just a quick 2-minute update on the start of the school year, how it's gone by building. They've done Zoom sessions with parents already to date. So we're going to set the bar high. We're going to start with Tara.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. I know I didn't need to introduce myself again, but I did just want to thank you for the opportunity to be here again. I'm just excited to be in my role 2 months in, as I was at the beginning, so that's a positive thing for sure. Updates from my end, I've just been getting in classrooms and meeting with teachers and just getting a pulse on where the special education department stands now. I've had the opportunity to work with the DPAC, who are very active, which has been like a breath of fresh air for me to build that relationship. Working with the leadership team, also very strong, so just looking forward to working together and moving forward.
Any questions for Tara?
I have a little one. Well,
Okay.
maybe it's not little. So there's been a lot of turnover between last year and this year in the SPED department.
Yep.
Do you have a sense for how, are the waters kind of like still ruffled, or does it feel really smoothed out? Like, do you have a sense for how?
So I feel like people are asking a lot of questions, which
Yeah.
is which is a great thing from staff. I feel like people are comfortable where they are right now. I met with staff individually just to get, sometimes you're more comfortable sharing things when you're meeting one-on-one versus when you're an entire group. So I met with people one-on-one, and then I met with them by school, the special education departments, and everyone seems pretty comfortable. But I will say that about the culture here is people are pretty supportive, and I think if you haven't been in a different district, you wouldn't know that you've got a really good thing going here. But people are really supportive. I mean, all the way to the leadership team. I text them all the time, hey, what do you do when, kind of thing. But I think the teachers are doing that for each other as well. So I feel pretty comfortable. I think it's helpful that Megan Zabicki has moved into the team chair role, given her history in the district as well. I think that it helps people feel comfortable. But no, I don't feel like we're in rough waters or anything like that.
Yeah, after a pandemic and, after, I wish.
Yeah.
Right?
I think this would have been a tough start to the school year for everyone, no matter what, and then add turnover. But given those factors, I think we're in good space. I'm comfortable with where we are.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
Mr. Romano.
So I feel like Anthony kind of stole my thunder on a lot of things. So, but it's been a fairly smooth couple of weeks. The great stuff. So Chromebook issue. Again, I hope Donna's not watching. This was the smoothest it's ever been while I've been here. So John and his folks did a great job. Scott, you guys did a fantastic job getting the Chromebooks out. Drama class. Well, like Anthony said, drama class is back. Music is back. Homecoming. Fall. All the fall sports are going. We don't have this fall season in March this year, which is fantastic. In classes, I see a lot of collaborative work. I see students working in groups. I see labs going on, which is fantastic. On kind of the social emotional side, we are trying to roll out a new advisory. It has a strong focus on college and career readiness. And then we have a speaker coming in October, J.C. Pohl. He does a lot of work with students on kind of peer leadership, peer mentorship. And the focus that we've asked him to kind of go with is on bullying and looking at things like how we treat people of different economic statuses, how we teach people who might have learning disabilities, body shaming, respect for all people despite their differences, the things that really make America great, those differences that we all have, and teaching kids to embrace those and be respectful of each other. So, and then we have a lot of stuff that's going on to fill any kind of gaps that we had for our students from remote and hybrid instruction. We did pretty well, but we've got some interventions going and an after-school program that we're going to be starting pretty soon, kind of like a drop-in homework club.
Can you touch base, fill people in a little bit more on what happens in that advisory block, and maybe talk a little bit about that school climate survey that you did?
So I just did a school climate survey. It was based on, the company is called, well, now I can't remember.
Sorry.
I can't remember the company, but I kind of lifted a lot of their ideas. So maybe it's good that I don't say the name of the company because it might have been a propriety thing that I lifted. But I kind of adapted it for our purposes. And it asked questions about how they have their sense of belongingness to school, their sense of feeling safe at school, their sense of being supported by teachers. And I was really blown away with kind of the overwhelming response that they had about how connected they do feel to their teachers. It was things like, are your teachers enthusiastic about class? If you went to them for help, would they be able to help you? If they asked you, how's your day going, do they actually care about your answer? And it was overwhelmingly positive about that. And really positive among each other, too. And I was surprised that even among the freshmen, a lot of them had already found that way to connect with somebody. We did this on, like, the 6th day of school. So for a freshman to say, like, yeah, I already feel connected to my coach, my English teacher, whatever, was fantastic. A lot of reports about how they feel safe. I think, a few things about too much homework and things like that you kind of expect. A few things about making sure that we're respectful to each other. But it's all kind of stuff that we'll take that now and we'll move into our Student Advisory Council and the School Council, and we'll kind of look at those and build upon the suggestions and improvements. I've gone way over my 2 minutes.
You're good.
That was Mr. Delaney 2 minutes.
I said 2 to give you a minute buffer on the other end.
All right, thank you so much.
Mr. Bell.
So things at the elementary school are off to a great start. Obviously, we started the year doing the routines and procedures and getting to know our kids. It's been awesome being in classrooms and seeing kids back in groups. Carpets, the round tables, all those things that we weren't able to do last year. COVID's still here. We're still wearing masks, but we've been able to do some more things. We're still going through the hand sanitizer like crazy, but we're trying to keep kids safe while also still getting back to some good teaching, which is exciting. I've seen some awesome collaboration between the teachers and the teams. We've had a few technology and textbook glitches as we've gotten going, but John's been awesome with his group trying to get all those fixed for us. I think we're going to start taking our beginning of the year assessments on Friday, which is exciting, so we can get some awesome data to see where our kids are at. And then we've also been a little short-staffed, but we've had some great people stepping up and filling in, like Miss Blessing's out right now, but Miss Purvis and Miss Thompson are helping fill in while she's out since we weren't able to secure a sub. So we have good plans in place, and everybody's doing everything they can to make it a smooth start to the year. With SEL, we're continuing with our morning meetings. We were using our closed gap check-in system, which was a great tool for us last year. So kids check in each morning, and any of those kids that are flagged for wanting to talk to somebody, those types of things, we're able to go and make sure we touch base with those kids. I'm doing more of that this year, which is kind of fun, because I've had some great talks with kids that I haven't had a lot of one-on-one discussions with, which has been neat, but it's already providing some great information for us, and it's a good tool for our kids. We're working a lot with goal setting with our kids, with our teachers, and as a school, which is something we haven't done before, and we're going to be posting those on our bulletin boards and tracking our progress, and it's just exciting to see the kids working towards something and celebrating those successes. And then we're also redoing how we recognize students within the school for the good things that they're doing. We see lots of great things every day, and I think sometimes that falls under the radar. So we're really working to recognize kids when they do something good and share that with others so that others can see what those good things are. We have our new remediation program. We have 2 paras that we added, and because of that, we've been able to, we're going to be able to provide not Title I services, but some Title I-like services to our 5th graders, which previously were unable to have those services. And then we're also able to expand it in our 2nd through 4th grade, which is exciting. We'll be able to target more students and hopefully fill some more holes. And then we're also starting up our after-school enrichment program again, which is really exciting. We took a year off last year because of COVID. I think I looked at the last session that we did. We had 120 students, so about a third of our students took advantage of that. And so hopefully we have at least that many, if not more. And we're excited to get those up and running with after-school sports and clubs with baking, all kinds of different things. Leah McCarthy is the one that's leading that for us this year, and she is already reaching out to the public library, the senior center, I think the middle school, and just trying to do some different things other than just the traditional clubs where we're working with the community as well. And then we have open house tomorrow night. We have staggered start times, and we're excited to have a great turnout for that. So, any questions?
I just wanted to say thank you for running, I think this is how it was told to me, a dance competition between the grades. I was told that the 5th graders weren't really that into it.
They
but
weren't, so they lost.
Right, of course. And I shamed my 5th grader for that. But that type of community building, it really matters.
We had a good day. So our first community meeting, we did it outside because I wanted to make sure we had everybody together. I don't think we're going to be able to do that all year. We're going to have to split it by grade level. But while the weather's nice, we're going to take advantage, and we're going to do them outside and have some fun with kids. And Mr. A wore the tiger outfit and danced, and we had a good time. So. Yeah. We're going to try to do more of that.
Appreciate it. It makes a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Mr. O'Brien. That tiger suit may need to be dry cleaned.
Oh, thank you again, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. I'd like to echo Tara's statement that when you're really close to a school or an organization, you don't see how wonderful it is. Having worked in several much larger districts, there's such a sense of community here, and it's really worthwhile. Last night we had an open house, and I told the parents, I met with the 6th grade parents, and every morning at bus duty, when I watch the kids come off the bus, I hear so many of them turn around to the driver and say, "Thank you for the ride to school." Just thank you, and the drivers have a good day. And that's the type of children you have here in the school. So it doesn't require a lot for us to want to go the extra mile for those students. Right now, our current enrollment at the middle school is 277 students. We look for that to go up as people hear about the wonderful things here. Electives, and I'll have to give a shout out to Ralph Olson, who was the interim last year. Starting the electives and changing the schedule around was a great start to this school year. Teachers are enjoying teaching the electives, and the students just love it. And so many parents last night said, "Thank you for the electives. This is great." Teachers started the NWEA testing, so we can look at where the losses and the gaps are in the learning. That's much more usable, I think, than MCAS, because we can actually work with the patient right now, as like a physical, as opposed to waiting till it's a serious illness. So they did a great job with that. Our CPT was also added to the schedule, so every teacher has a prep and also common planning time. in all 3 grades. That way they can meet with the special ed teachers and they can do co-planning. They can see what's going on in the classroom. And they also brief me if there's any students that might need some extra care. And we bring that up to the student support team, which we meet once a week for that. So it's a lot of proactive. We have kids playing JV, soccer, cross country. We have 2 students playing field hockey at BMR. So it's great to see the kids involved. I'm working with the superintendent and a business manager to create more after-school enrichment programs as well. So when you see that come by your desk, 2 thumbs up. SEL, every day we have an SEL period. It's kind of short, and we discovered we can't do as many things in that period of time. So we're on a 6-day cycle. So once in a 6-day cycle, that class is going to be moved, so we have a big chunk of time to deal with it. We'll be using the closed gap program that they use at the elementary school. There's some technical stuff. Thanks, John, for your help on that to get that up and running, where the kids can come in and check in. Also, Mrs. Finley grabbed a program for us, and it's 180 lessons on SEL. And since we're doing that one long block meeting per 6-day cycle, we have enough lesson plans already done for the teachers for all 3 grades for the rest of the year. So we're working on that. And we'll see where, if something happens in the community or nationally where we have to really touch base on the SEL skills, we have the flexibility to do that in the morning meeting as well. I would like to thank all the teachers because they're just phenomenal and so welcoming. The secretaries have been a great help, central office. All of the children are screaming great things about lunch, so thank you, Raquel, for that. They love it. We have to get more kids eating breakfast, so that's one of our things. And Raquel and I are working on a second chance breakfast because sometimes the adolescents don't like to have breakfast first thing. But around 8:30 and 9, they start getting a little hungry, so we're working on that as well. The cafeteria staff and the custodians are doing a great job keeping that school pretty much spotless. So we're off to a good start, and I'm open to questions.
How are the teachers like in the new schedule?
They like it, and I had several teachers say the toughest class at this age group is right after lunch to get them settled. And it's great that you don't see that same group of kids right after lunch or the same group of kids right in the morning. Okay. The students picked up the schedule much quicker than I did, or the teachers, they just roll with it. So they do enjoy having that different time. And the same thing for the students. They don't want to see the same cranky person after lunch every day. So they're excited to get out there as well. And I did bump into a parent, I won't say any names, on the way in, and she told me that her 6th grade son absolutely loves middle school.
Great.
And that's what we like to hear.
I heard there was a scavenger hunt to find you had to follow your child's schedule during the open house.
Yes.
To find, right? Right? That's a nasty trick
The school,
to play.
the school gets small fast, though.
Yeah.
We give the parents more passing time than we give kids to give them that extra time to find our way. So.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So a lot going on. And I'm glad we really didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about COVID like we did all last year and the year before. But again, on top of what you hear them that they've done, they've also had to deal with the COVID aspect of it too. So just a huge shout out to the leadership team and teachers for everything that they've done to make, I think today's day 10 of the school year, and the first 10 days such a success. So thank you. Any other questions from the committee about the start of the year?
I appreciate, how the principals are always thinking and, coming up with innovative ideas where it pops into their head. They're scanning, they're watching the kids, it sounds like. So I appreciate that, really. So thank you for all your hard work.
All right. 2 other things on my report before we move on to the next part. One is enrollment. We still have a lot of movement. When the masks mandate came out from the commissioner at the end of August, we saw an increase in our homeschool enrollment. So I'm going to hold off before we do anything on a formal enrollment update. But one thing I am going to be recommending during the consent agenda item is a vote to close school choice. Historically, we've never put a stop date for school choice, but this year, given an uptick in enrollment, but also wanting to be mindful of space and COVID and trying to maintain some distancing, I don't want to jam the classrooms in. So what I'll be recommending, and we'll discuss it at the consent agenda, is to close K-8 on October 1, and then to close 9 through 12 on November 1st. So still gives us another couple of days to get some things in. The high school has still some significant space, but our K-8 is getting tight, so I want to be able to close that school choice on October 1. And I know we haven't done that in the past, but again, it's just that size and making sure we have the ability to keep some social distancing and also plan for, if people are moving into the district, to not overcrowd the classroom. So I'll make that recommendation when we get to the next part of the agenda. Couple other little housekeeping things. One, at our next meeting, the principals will be presenting a lot of information on data. Looking at MCAS data, looking at benchmark tests, looking at some trends, going back and looking at it from what happened last year in COVID, but also what happened in the previous few years. They'll talk a little bit about the remediation program that they have, how they're using that data to drive what they're doing inside the remediation classrooms, and also seeing what they're seeing for gaps. It's only been 10 days, but it's been tricky. I'll use Ms. Sosha as an example. Typically in kindergarten, at the start of the school year, you probably have 75–80% of your kiddos who've done some form of preschool, daycare, some form of structured learning. As a result of COVID last year, a lot of those kids haven't had that. So those skills that kindergarten kids come into, waiting their turn, being patient, following rules, sitting down, adapting to change, things that you learned in preschool or daycare, they hadn't had that. So our K teachers are struggling a little bit now with those behaviors. They'll come around because it's what kids do. It happens in preschool. But they'll talk a little bit about some of the things that they're seeing in the first month of the school year and how we're going to address it. Piggybacking what people said, just to thank you again to everyone. I sound like a broken record, but I think, Bob said it. It's a testament to the community. The kids here are fantastic. The staff here are fantastic. The community's been fantastic. So a huge thank you to them. I stood at the middle school during open house yesterday, had parents come in, said hello to everyone, and everyone said hello back, nice to see you, thank you for being here. Just polite, great people. So thank you for that. And then the last thing is an update on our testing programs. So our testing programs, we found out about Test and Stay, the symptomatic testing, and the pool testing on August 13th, was when it first rolled out to superintendents. We got a lot more information about a week, around the 20th, 25th after that. So it's still about only 3 weeks since we actually knew how to go about doing things with it. Last week, we sent out something through a CIC link. We used to go through Project Beacon. The state switched from Project Beacon to CIC, which is a new vendor, and that's where parents have to give consent for all 3 tests. What we heard back from families was, I really like option 1 and 2, but I'm not wild about 3, or I only want 3, but not 1 and 2. So we follow that up with a Google form, because in order to get uploaded into the system, you have to consent to CIC for all 3. We also want people to have the choice to be able to say, I just want my kid to have the test and stay, but we don't need the pool testing every week. So we set that out. As of yesterday, when I met with our head nurse, we're still waiting on the supplies. We ordered everything. When we came back from school, they still haven't arrived, so we're still not able to get it up and running. And then the final piece is, they're still going through the training on how to actually use the platform that's from CIC in order to be able to give the tests. So we still don't have an official start date for the 3 programs. I know it's frustrating for people, it's frustrating for us, because we said we were gonna have it, and we have some kids who are close contacts in our home, but as soon as we can finish the testing from the state, as soon as we receive the supplies from the state, then we can send something out to people and officially start the program. I want it up and running more than anyone else. I know the principals do. They want the kids in school. We just have to wait till we get the supplies and we finish the testing program. That's all for me for tonight, for now. Any questions? All right.
Moving on to the discussion of the superintendent's evaluation. So we're going to go and look at the rubrics that's on the education of superintendent and district administration rubrics. It's number 1. It's more like collaboration with Dr. Vera, going back and forth, what kind of goals, it'll form his goals and objectives, but based on these standards that are here on the rubrics. And I know Julie is listening from home, but I know she did provide me with some input, but she can actually chime in from home about this. Just to get a pulse of where we are as a committee to help for Dr. Vera to set up his goals. Any questions, Dr. Vera?
I'm good.
So, does anyone have any thoughts of where they'd like to see stuff?
I can chime in. So like if we're looking at the standard 1 instructional leadership, I particularly liked the instruction indicator.
B?
I'm not sure if anybody else had the same thoughts.
That was one of mine too, Monique.
Yeah,
Yes.
I looked at the extended rubric and I was sort of looking more at what does it mean to be proficient in that and what does it mean to be exemplary, and to kind of get a better sense of that. A lot of them sort of blend some elements, which is a good thing, but also can be difficult in trying to like assess, well, what's this and what's that. But I did like the instruction. I don't know if you want me to read a little part of it or.
Whatever you.
Okay.
We're good. You can go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the proficient one is shorter, so I'll read that. It monitors and supports principals and instructional staff through observations and feedback to ensure that instructional practices in all settings reflect high expectations regarding content and quality of effort and work. Engage all students and are personalized to accommodate diverse learning styles, needs, interests, and levels of readiness. And the exemplary, basically just kind of embellishes more around that theme. So.
I believe that was one of Julie's as well.
Okay.
So just so. Anybody else have any that they would like to?
I was looking under management and operations.
Okay.
For social and emotional well-being, since we're
Yep.
coming off COVID. I think that should be something that we are really stressing, and I think we're very good at family and community engagement after COVID. I think we've had plenty of Zoom meetings. So if we just keep that going, we're fine. And then the professional culture. What would the difference, if anybody wants to chime in, between the shared vision development and consensus building?
So either of those are of interest to me, so just to
Yeah.
give a quick, so proficient for shared vision would be continuously engages administrators, staff, students, families, and community members in developing a shared educational vision focused on student preparation for college and career readiness, civic engagement, community contributions, and responsible citizenship. So that's shared vision. And managing conflict. Proficient is responds respectfully and appropriately to disagreement and dissent, using both as opportunities for learning, and employs a variety of strategies to resolve conflicts in a constructive manner. Models this practice for the administrator team.
So in regards to managing conflict indicator, I believe that was one of mine as well. Those were on your list? Yeah? Everybody had that?
So both E and F?
So
Four?
definitely F.
Yeah, definitely F.
I think I had something different than the shared vision. Let me just pull that up here. On standard 4.
I know we've been through these pages so many times, my vision at home.
Standard 4, was that communications? Yeah, I think I had continuous learning? Is that there? Yeah, continuous learning. Proficient is develops and nurtures a culture in which staff members are reflective about their practice and use student data, current research, best practices, and theory to continuously adapt instruction and achieve improved results, as evidenced by supporting regular opportunities for administrators and teams to reflect on and collaborate around the effectiveness of a wide range of practices related to instruction and learning and engaging in their own continuous learning to improve leadership. So basically, I kind of got the sense it was being proficient in continuous improvement, which I thought was good, a good thing to kind of encourage a culture of. But that was my thought on that one.
So we're supposed to select 3 of these at the end of the day collaboratively? Is that?
It's
2 was good, right?
2 or 3 of them, and so then Dr. Vera can, mull over and figure out, and then come back to us and suggest his goals and objectives. I believe it's a collaborative effort.
Okay.
Because I do believe social and emotional well-being will be part of his, we've talked about it enough. So, I mean, that is just a huge component of what we are.
Right.
Is taking care of our community, the kids that are here, as well as the teachers, the administrative, the whole kit and caboodle. So,
If we did D, E, and F, do you think that that is a reasonable amount for standard 4?
I don't think we could do all of those. No, I think we would pick, I would think,
Just 2?
1 in each one.
Oh, I thought it was 2. I thought she said 2 or 3 in each one.
No, it's 1. It's 3 from each one of these standards, any one of these. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Well, so what I heard her say was that what we should be identifying is for my formative and summative evaluation, we should pick 4, 5, 6, 4 to 8, 6 to 8 of these power standards, not all 32.
Right.
So when, Monique, you said, standard 1B, is it 1B1, 1B2, 1B3, or is it just, or is it all of them? So when Tracy came, it was identifying 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the power standards and making those the power standards. That would be the basis of my formative and then ultimately my summative evaluation. And then I would build 3 to 4 goals based off of this, and then that would be reflective, obviously, in the blueprint. What's great about hearing what you're selecting is this is already the work that we've started doing with the blueprint, with principals and with the leadership team and with staff, so it ties in perfectly with the work we are already doing. So, you have, I think, 1B identified, you have 2A identified, then you have 4, D, and F identified, is what I heard.
4E was.
Oh, 4, D,
Also.
E, and F? Did we say all 3 D, E, and F?
I'm not saying you have to do all of those, but those are the ones
Those
I've
you brought up, yeah.
brought up that one too.
Yeah, I didn't look at this at the level of 1C1, 1C2, 1C3. Because I think the version I saw online did not have that part, so. So what do you think? Is that what you're looking for specifically from us here? Is that what we're doing? Picking one?
I think we're narrowing it down, the field, so, I think we all are in agreement with what Dr. Vera identified based on the feedback that we had, because a lot of us all, I think, pretty much are on point. Does Julie have anything else
I
to
have
add?
not heard yet anything from Julie, she's still on mute.
So.
If she wants to enter something into the chat, we can do that. Maybe I can propose this. Maybe what we do for this meeting is identify, let's say, 1B, 2A, 4E, and then for the next meeting, you can go down and drill down into the indicators to say, okay, we identified 1B. Do we want 1B1, 1B2, 1B3? Do we want one of them? Do we want all 3 of them? Do we want 2 of them? And that at least will give you time between now and the first meeting in August.
So I use those numbers is what I use.
Yes, that's what I thought. I'm still
Okay,
trying to get.
I know I think you're texting Heather right now, correct? And what were the numbers that you used, Julie?
Hold on.
I'm finding it.
Right. Sorry, so I used the number system when I submitted mine.
Yeah, she has 1B and D and 2A.
So was that 1 what?
1B, so that's the instruction indicator, which I said, Julie, Monique, I have it.
So I think it was 1B and D, and then standard 2A, and then I wrote the reason why I felt those were important.
Okay, so,
But,
yeah,
I mean,
she
that sounds
didn't-
like that's what you're gonna be writing about rather than me.
But Julie, the ones that you had indicated are in the standard for professional culture. They're there with what Monique has suggested, just so you know.
Yep.
So we have 1B, 2A, then 4, D, E, and F.
Yeah, I think that's,
Was there anything else in 1, 2, or 3 that we want to look at?
I had also standard 3, I had B, sharing responsibility with family, community, staff.
So we have 1B, 2A, 3B, and then 4, D, E, and F. So maybe between now and the next meeting, you can drill down into those indicators and read them and say, okay, do we want all of 3B, or is 3B1 sufficient? And then I can go back and read them as well. This at least gives me some direction between now and the next meeting to read through them and look at them.
is that fair for everybody? Is that agreeable for everybody? Because now that we have the printouts, I know I was highlighting my thing at home, but.
Yeah, so what's the goal then, do you think? Like, how many specific items should we be looking to gather a list of?
So what Tracy had suggested was anywhere between, again, that 4 to 6, 5 to 8 total. And then from there, I'll base my goals off of that in the blueprint and present 3 to 4 goals. But obviously for my formative and then for my summative evaluation at the end of the year, I'll show evidence in, if you choose 1B2, in addition to the goals that I propose, there'll be evidence of how we met those goals. In addition to that, if you choose 1B2, quality and effort of work, I'll supply evidence for you as to how that was met or not met.
So right now, there's 14, basically, is that what you're saying? There's a list of 14, so we have to further narrow that down, okay.
Correct. So we have to try to narrow that down to 6 to 8.
We can do it. So next school meeting, so we have a homework assignment, ladies. If we could do that and have that, and we can put that on the agenda for our next school committee meeting. Anything else that we want to discuss on this? Seeing none, we're going to move on to the accounts payable report. Do we have?
I read it, but I don't see it in the paperwork.
Yeah, I don't
She
believe we
has
have one
I don't
for this
see,
evening.
I think I don't have. So we're going to skip on down to the consent agenda, the September 1st, 2021 minutes. Evaluation. Oh, it's in here twice.
I didn't see anything.
Okay. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the September 1st, 2021 meeting minutes.
So moved?
Second.
Motion made, oh, I don't even have to, we just do a roll call vote.
Nope.
No, just vote?
Yep.
All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, DHS new student activity accounts.
Mr. Romano, you're up.
One more time.
So,
Do we have a Cookie Monster here? Is that what you're saying?
we do appear to have a cookie thief. Which just goes to prove if you give a mouse a cookie, he's going to steal your other cookie too. So as Anthony said, again, I'll draw on Anthony because he did such a great job. We have a lot of clubs at DHS, but I want to set up even more. My goal is that we really want to have it so that every student at the school has some activity that they can do that they enjoy, so that maybe they don't like history class, maybe they don't like math class. I don't know why they wouldn't like those, but just in case, maybe they like drama club, or maybe they like music, or they like soccer, or they like any of the clubs that we've put together. So based on what students were requesting, we are putting together another set of clubs which need to have their stipends approved and their student activities account, sub-account, I guess. I don't want to use the wrong term, Courtney, but
Yeah, it just counts, yeah.
account created as well, so that they can fundraise and pay for things that they do as part of the club. Those clubs are an art club, which Mrs. Stand is happy to run, the gaming club, which is Mr. Nash, esports, which Mr. Mamaris is going to coach, the robotics club, which is Mr. Reardon, and the web design and coding club, which is Mr. Tossi. So students have already expressed interest. Some of these were even piloted as sort of a non-paid, just, hey, let's get together and hang out and do some art basis, and now we'd like to go forward with them officially.
So with regard to the financial impact, the total of all of the, and we did meet, Josh and I met with Mr. Reardon to discuss the, because actually it
Stipends
started
and-
last year, but we couldn't do it because of COVID, to be honest with you. It's been sitting out there for quite a while. But I believe you have included in your agenda on the second page the proposed stipend amounts, and the DTA has agreed to that, so we do expect to, Paul and I have to work on the official agreement, MOA with the, and then get it in Appendix C. We don't see that to be a problem at all. So the total amount for all five is $4,443, but that's without any, because as you know, we're in negotiations, so that's based on the FY '20 and then '21 rates. That would be paid from the general fund.
I have a geriatric millennial question for you.
Sure. Hopefully I can answer, because
What are esports?
so esports, I can actually answer that question. So picture soccer,
Yeah.
but instead there's monster trucks, and instead of actual monster trucks, they're on a computer screen. So it is literally a competitive sport,
Yeah.
two schools playing against each other at a series of video games. So there's Rocket League, and I can't for the life of me remember the other two. But it's an MIA sport, and it is inter-school competition.
Wow.
There's a coach, there's standings, there's playoffs, there's the whole districts, there's the whole deal.
Great.
So the idea is, instead of a kid going home and playing video games in their basement, stay here, play video games with friends, and it's been a great way to kind of build the socialization for some of our students who maybe aren't going to do a different thing. They're not going to be part of the soccer team, but they'll play Rocket League and go that way. So
Awesome.
that's the other. So one of the other goals with this is to really to create clubs that meet, any kid's needs, so any kid's interests. So.
Will you be capturing this, like, with photos and?
Yes, so it was one of the recommendations that I got on one of my parent Zooms was, we want more pictures on the blog, so, yep, I'm going to be soliciting photos from everybody for things. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
And then the art wall will actually be on the other side of these windows. The students will hang their art up there.
I don't have any questions, but I'm glad to see it finally coming to fruition, because this has been going on for like 2 years, I think, or maybe even 2.5.
Well, yeah, well,
When
a
you
couple
first-
of them, yeah, 2 years,
Yeah,
yeah.
And one of them covers the 6th grade through 12th, so
Yeah.
it's not just for the high school.
Mhm.
And hopefully it'll keep some kids here after school.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, to
It's a good
everybody.
place for them to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the sense of normalcy, I think, just hearing it, seeing it. I was at open house last night. Homecoming was last weekend. I mean, it's just a good vibe. The feedback that I know we're getting from the community has been, so keep doing what you're doing.
It feels like school again.
Yeah, so I totally appreciate it. I know we all appreciate it, and thank you.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you. Appreciate it.
We should probably vote on it, though.
Yes.
Yeah, we probably do need to
I'd be
vote.
looking for a motion.
There is some very long language that
Yes.
Courtney provided there.
I got it.
I got But I didn't mean it like that, Miss Keegan. So
Well, wait a minute, it wouldn't
In
be
Miss
so
Keegan's
long if there weren't
defense-
so many clubs.
originally, this was like 5 or 6 different things, and I was going to stand up here for 20 minutes and talk about each club separately, and Ms. Keegan said, why don't we just do it in one? So she's actually saved you considerable time from my initial efforts.
We appreciate
Deep
that.
breath.
And we all appreciate that. Thank you, Ms. Keegan.
Okay. I move to approve the addition of the following DHS student activity clubs: Art Club, Gaming Club, Esports Club, Robotics Club, and Web Design and Coding Club. Additionally, move to approve the following stipends beginning with the 2021-2022 school year per the attached listing: Art Club, $701, Gaming Club, $701, Esports Club, $1,170, Robotics Club, $1,170, Web Design and Coding Club, $701. The stipends will be paid from the general fund.
Motion made by Becky. I need a second, please.
Second.
Second by Lisa. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This microphone in front of me, and I start saying things like...
So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be moving to executive session. This is to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the government body, and to conduct collective bargaining, to review the contract language and propose revision strategies for a successful completion of the agreement between the Douglas School Committee, the Teamster Union Local Number 170, and the custodial contract and cafeteria workers contract. We will return back to open session in approximately 30 minutes. Thank you so much.
We